Welcome back to another episode of Building Forever. I'm Kristen Simmons, and today I have a very special guest. Kate is one of my very first health coaching clients, and today we're going to just kind of unpack our entire journey together. She's going to share a little bit about her experience health coaching with me. You're going to get a little taste of what a health coaching check-in call might look like. So let's rewind back to 2020 when I did my very first group challenge for health coaching. It was like the kickoff for my health coaching business, really. And you were in that challenge. And then from there, you became a health coaching client. So think back and tell me, like, what made you want to become a health coaching client? What made you want to work with me? And then, like, what were your goals starting out?
Yeah, it's so crazy to think 'cause that was all the way back in 2020 and we were in the middle of the pandemic. So it's been, I guess, a long journey. But I think at that time, I've been living in New York, was super focused on work, work, work. And I really didn't have a lot of good balance. It wasn't really a time that I was focusing on my health. And then I think I found myself in the pandemic, working from home, not really having my routine. And you had started, like you said, your 14-day challenge. And then I think that was kind of the beginning of your health coaching business. And for me, it was a really good time that I was looking for some change. I feel like I've tried like all the things in the past, whether it was like doing Whole30, I've done plant-based diets, I've tried keto before, and like nothing really worked or was really sustainable. I feel like I still I was going to workout classes. I felt like I was doing the things, but I don't think I really had the knowledge for what I needed to do to lose weight, get more fit, and just like feel better overall. So I feel like when we started working together, I was probably at like the lowest point of my like health journey, or just really not knowing where to go. And I think during part of that time, I also made a move to the West Coast. And yeah, it was kind of just a good time for me for some change and to learn more sustainable habits so I could change my lifestyle overall long term.
Okay, so timeline. You did my 14-day challenge, and then you decided to do a 3-month program with me. What made you decide to continue?
Yeah. So I think after doing the 3-month program, I had already started to like see progress. So that was super exciting and made me say like, okay, what else can we do? I want to keep going. And also I was just learning so much. And I think having those weekly or bi-weekly check-ins with you, and being able to kind of make adjustments as we needed to, it was just so helpful through the journey. I also just like learned a lot about like women's health and like my period, and we did some like cycle syncing and just things like that overall was helping me beyond weight loss, but just like physically feeling my best as well. So we continued on, and I want to say that for our first time around we worked together for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit more. And during that time I learned so much. Like I said, really saw like my fitness improve and my strength improve as well. And I actually lost, I think, about 60 pounds that first time around, which was really exciting. And at that point, I feel like I had really like hit my goal, was in a place where I was like feeling good about myself, felt like I had a lot of tools. And I think that was around the time you were starting your business with Forever Young. I was in a really busy time at work. So we actually decided to kind of just like take a pause with the health coaching. And so really, I guess for the past like year or so, I've been just kind of doing it on my own. Like during that time, I really got away from macro tracking or counting calories. I feel like I just kind of inherently like knew the tools and like knew what I needed to do. But what's really cool is even through that and through this past year, I was able to like maintain the same weight roughly the whole time. I feel like all of the tools that I had learned through your program like really helps me just continue on. And that was what was really exciting for me, of like, okay, we've done all this work for a year and a half, can I keep it as a lifestyle? And I really did. So that was awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, your story and journey has been so inspiring, and taking a break, like, I'm so proud that you've come back and you've been able to maintain, and that's like something to be so proud of. So another thing to know, actually, when Kate and I worked together for that year and a half and some change, I did not have any of the tools I have now. We did not have an in-body analysis. We were not in person. This was all online, with the exception of when I would see you to do your hair, of course. But now that we have all these tools and she is back, I invited her to try out my new app. And then she went and got an in-body analysis. And so after we did that, she decided to sign back up and do another health coaching program with me and set larger goals. So,
Yeah.
Kate, what made you decide to come back for more?
Yeah, well, I know you've had such an exciting year, and it's been really exciting seeing you and Ryan open your businesses. And when I heard you were bringing back health coaching, I was like, oh, like this could be a good time to start talking with KP again. Because, like I said, I'm really excited that I was able to maintain all the progress that we made. But I feel like I needed a little bit more motivation. I want to lose some additional weight, as well as I really want to like focus on like gaining muscle. And I think that's an area also where this busy time in my life, I started to slack a little bit more, I would say, on my some of my workouts and some of the strength training. So that was really this year. I was like, okay, I want to like kickstart again. I have a little bit more time that I want to like focus on my health and make that a priority again. I've started seeing a trainer at my gym, and I was like, okay, perfect. Coupling this with KP, that's really what I need to hit those goals. So it's been really cool just so far starting, just seeing the evolution of your program and all the tools that you have now with your app that we didn't have the first time around. So I'm just really excited to use all of this. I did my first InBody scan, and really excited to use these tools now to hit those final goals, lose a little bit more weight, and gain muscle, and just kind of continue on building from what we did before, and just kind of seeing where we can accelerate, and kind of enhance some of that, I guess.
Yeah, I'm so excited too. And honestly, you have been a dream to coach because not only do you follow the plan, but you communicate. So, how do you feel like you've been able to stay so committed to yourself and to your goals, like even when life gets crazy? Because you're a world
Yeah.
traveler, you're constantly traveling, and you've still made so much progress.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you have to definitely have some like self motivation, and I feel like when I started working with you, like I really like again had tried all the things, probably yo-yo diets, tried things like throughout like my adult life, and I just like really hadn't stuck with anything, and I think I really had that self motivation of I finally wanted to make the change, and I just didn't know how to do it or what I needed to do. So with working with you, I really feel like I just learned so many sustainable um like habits and lifestyles that I just didn't really know. I didn't have the knowledge. I feel like I had never tracked my calories before really well, tracked macros. I think one of the first things we realized is I wasn't eating enough food, right? And I think that's so hard. I think a lot of women are like, well, I'm not eating a lot. Like, I'm just eating like this salad every day. But you really don't know what's in the makeup of what's in those macros and what you're actually doing and what those inputs are. And I was probably like, going to HIIT classes and all these things. And just like didn't really have any of that knowledge. So I think a lot of the things like I learned with you were also ways like, how do we make this sustainable and how does this fit into my lifestyle? It's not just like, okay, you can never eat carbs again or never eat pizzas, because that's not realistic, and that's not something that you're going to be able to do when you're on vacation or you're going to weddings, and you're not just home every day making every meal from scratch. Like, that's not everyone's normal lifestyle. So I think with you, I learned a lot about what I needed to do from a nutrition standpoint, what I needed to do about even like drinking more water, and also what like fitness program would actually work for me, and like what was actually going to be good for my body versus maybe these HIIT classes that were just adding stress and making me hungry and not actually helping me with my goals of like losing weight and building muscle. So I think some of those things were really helpful. And then also just having, you said like, how did I decide to start this journey and keep working with you? I think for me, the accountability was so important. And as much as we don't want to take the check-in photos every week or write down, especially on a bad week, it's like, okay, this is what I did or what happened with the food I ate, or maybe it was a big party weekend because I was at a wedding and I was drinking. Just like knowing that I was going to check in with you every week, it kind of helped me keep going. So not only the accountability to myself, but like, okay, like I gotta, Krista, I'm going to be seeing her this week and I want to, do good for her as well. So for me, maybe self-motivation can be hard, so it's nice also having that accountability partner to help push you and motivate you throughout the journey, because it's gonna be highs and lows, and not every week you're gonna be losing pounds. Like, maybe you have good weeks that you go up, so it's helpful to have someone who can maybe keep you grounded and really understand your progress. It would be really awesome if like sometimes you would even send me these photos of like, oh my goodness, like look at your check-in from week 1 to where we are 8 weeks later. And I feel like when you see yourself every day in the mirror, you don't really even notice the changes as they're happening slowly. So it's so cool to be able to see that over time. So yeah, I think working with you, I was just able to, first of all, learn all the things about nutrition and healthy lifestyle that we're just not taught, and you can't find necessarily on the internet. There's so many conflicting things. And then having that person to motivate me.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think too, like since we did start working together in the pandemic and you were mostly doing classes, right? Like when you started doing strength training, we did at home
Yeah.
strength training for like a while.
Totally. I mean, during that time, all I could do was walk around my neighborhood in New York. And I think I was one of the early people that I was able to get some weights delivered to my house before they all ran out in the pandemic. So yeah, everything was at home workouts, and it's crazy to see the progress that I can make just doing at home workouts. Like I made so much more progress following your program and doing that at home than I had seen with anything else.
Yeah, and I don't feel like we never did more than 3 days of strength training.
No, probably just like 3 days, maybe four sometimes as we went like further on, but definitely not early on when I was at home.
And then I feel like as it's evolved, like now you have a personal trainer
Hmm.
that you work with, and then you also go to Pilates, and then you do my strength training 2 days a week. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of built on each other over the years, and then you're able to incorporate other things to have that variety. I hope that's enjoyable for you, and that you still look forward to to the workouts.
Yeah, I think it was definitely like you said, like building over time. Because now that I guess like my like fitness level has gone up, like I enjoy like working out maybe like 5+ days a week sometimes, and getting in rest days as well. But I love getting on all my steps. I love getting in my walks. But I think what you said is important. Like I feel like it's all things that I enjoyed, and you also helped build us plans that we like. Because if it's something that I'm dreading doing, it's gonna be so hard to go to the gym and do that and do those moves. So I think for me and working with you, we have found a good mix of strength training and doing exercise that I really like, but incorporating maybe some more low impact things that I enjoy as well, like doing Pilates and some yoga, to kind of balance that out and kind of make it something that I can see myself doing for my entire life and not just something I'm doing short term, to try to hit short term goals, but really just to, again, create a lifestyle.
Definitely. And I feel like you signed up with me because your goal was weight loss, right? But do you feel like at a certain point that mattered less? Because that was always my intention, was like, let's not get hung up with the number on the scale. Goal wise, mentally, was there a shift that you remember happening?
Yeah, and I think especially with, this time around because we took a break for a while, I'm really focused on I guess more of like building strength, like body recomposition. Like I want to build muscle. Like that's like what's more exciting to me and not just like a number on a scale. And I think those are the other things that kind of keep you motivated when you're going through a fitness journey, especially for women, right? Like weight will go up and down, but seeing how your clothes fit better or like seeing like your muscles that you never knew existed, like that's, I think, even more exciting and motivating.
The last thing is like today was our check-in call. And so part of our check-in call, and I think the reason why it's so beneficial for you to work with me, you continue to do weekly check-ins, but we typically try to talk bi-weekly and kind of just like touch
Yeah.
base. So you are so busy. You have a really busy month coming up. And so I think being able to help you navigate that and like kind of just trying to talk it out and
Mhm.
come up with a plan together, is really beneficial for you, would you say?
Definitely. And I like love the check-ins. I feel like some people are afraid of them or don't like them. It's awkward taking these pictures and checking your weight, and writing down the things. But for me, I love having that record so we can really see the progress over time. So I'm doing it every week in the app because you have this awesome tool. Why wouldn't I use it? Even if we're not going to be speaking that week, just for kind of my own benefit. And so we have that record. And yeah, I have a really busy May coming up. I have a lot of travel with some vacations, some work travel, wedding. So I'm really excited to be working with you now because these seasons are always the toughest and when it's toughest to maintain and like still hit your goals. So really excited to work with you so I can have a plan going to these events and I can know that even when I'm having a crazy weekend or week, I'll be able to stay on track and have those tools to continue working towards my goals, even when I know I'm going to have like a little bit of a busier, more off month than usual.
Definitely. And then it's just like setting you up for the future. So it's like, okay, this is how we're going to do this next month. And then when
Yeah.
you come back, we're going to lock in and, incorporate this or that or whatever. So
Totally, and that's why it's exciting. Like you said, working with you and having these calls because we can kind of plan of like, okay, what are we gonna do while we're in this month where I'm not gonna really be in one place and moving around a lot, and help us build like, okay, so what does that then look like for June? So it can really just be more of a cohesive plan versus if I was just doing this on my own. I don't know. I would just be maybe doing what I would usually do, hope for the best, and then being like, let's start again in June. But I think when you're working with like a health coach like yourself, then it can be kind of more of a long-term strategy and kind of planning out, okay, what does not just this week look like, but what does the next 3 months look like? And how is that going to align with how we're eating, how we're working out, and everything that we're going to do to make a plan to stick to.
And I feel like the biggest compliment is a referral, and you've sent me like all your best girlfriends.
Yes. I've had so many people that worked for you for different lengths of time, whether it was before weddings or just wanting to get on track. And I mean, I feel like everyone has always just like loved talking to you and working with you again, because it's just this knowledge that I think we don't learn in school or from our doctors about nutrition and just different healthy lifestyle tips. And especially around the fitness space, you have so much knowledge. So yeah, I always love sending you referrals because I know they're in good hands.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your journey. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you would say to anybody that's considering, working with a health coach or is like on the fence?
Yeah, I would say I think I've been there and I've tried to do all the things on my own. I've watched the TikTok videos, right? I've done, like I said, so many different diets and tried different things. But I think working with a health coach is the biggest thing that's made a change in my health journey and with in my life with my fitness goals, and just something that I think I couldn't have truly done on my own. And now I feel like I have all this knowledge that I can take into the future, and I don't need to necessarily work with you forever, although I love talking with you every week. But I feel like you've really given me tools that can build that lifestyle. So, we invest all this money in our hair and clothes and makeup and all these things. So for me, I'm like, this is an expense in like my health and my future, my life. So like, why wouldn't I want to put in the time, the money, and the effort to feel good about myself and feel my best? So I think it's one of the best decisions I've made, and I would definitely say other people should check it out and see what they can learn with you.
Yay. All right, Kate. Well, you are such an inspiration. Thank you again. And I'll see you at your next check-in.
Awesome. Thank you.